I told my parents I was gay to dodge their arranged marriage proposals, but they hit me with the ultimate reverse card. My parents have recently been getting on my case about getting married. Apparently I'm getting older, need to settle down and give them grandchildren or something like that. Basically, every time I see them, which is fairly often since they live close by, they have a new potential match for me, a picture of some new girl, and ask me if I'd be willing to meet her. It's honestly super annoying, but I'm too non-confrontational to really put my foot down and say, I don't want an arranged marriage. After all, if I do, there'd be an argument or, at minimum, some interrogation about why I don't want one. Anyways, I was thinking of ways I could get them to stop harassing me about getting married, and the idea in the title popped up in my head. I decided it'd be a lot easier to just come out as gay than to explain why I didn't want an arranged marriage. My parents were fairly conservative, but weren't the types to disown their kids, and if I just said I was gay, I'd have a solid reason to not get an arranged marriage. I didn't like girls. So that's what I ended up doing last time I was visiting. They were showing me pictures of some girl, and I just looked them in the eyes and said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. They got really quiet and awkward and asked me if I was sure, and I said yes. My mom told me they'd love me no matter what, and to do what makes me happy. My dad was a lot more awkward and quiet, but later gave me a similar talk about how he was a bit uncomfortable with the idea, but recognizes that times are changing, and I should do what makes me happy. Overall, I did feel kinda bad because of how genuinely my parents seemed to respond to me, but was happy with the result. They stopped giving me arranged marriage proposals, and stopped showing me pictures of girls. That is, until last weekend. I visited them as usual, and was greeted by my mom, who was more excited than usual. She sat me down, and pulled out a binder with a bunch of pictures of guys. Apparently my parents had spent the last month or so looking for any and all gay Hindu Indian men whom I could potentially marry. So now I guess I'm dealing with the exact same shitty, but instead of being greeted with pictures of cute Indian girls, I get to see pictures of gay Indian dudes instead. Fug my life, lol. At this point, the plan is to either find a girlfriend and tell my parents she totally turned me straight, or maybe marry a twink or SMTH in IDK. Update. I visited my parents as always, and resolved myself to tell them the truth. However, when I got there, my mom as always pushed the binder in my hands, and I kinda lost my resolve to tell her. I decided to just play along. I decided to look at the binder of dudes in earnest, to see if I liked any of them. TBH. I'm really glad I did. Most of the dudes were unattractive as expected, but I found a dude on there who I legitimately think is cuter and more feminine than the vast majority of girls I've seen. I told my mom I liked him, and she kinda joked around, asking me what the point of being gay is when I wanted a dude who looked like a girl anyway. She talked to his parents. We had a meeting set up over Zoom, and overall it went really well. We have a bunch of common interests. We're both massive weebs and history nerds, and he also disclosed that he apparently cross-dressed in private, which only made me like him more. In the end though, we both decided we didn't want to rush into marriage and wanted to do a dating trial run of sorts. I told my parents and they were fine with it. My dad literally just told me that as long as we have marriage as an eventual goal and don't have sex before marriage, they didn't mind if we dated. Luckily, he lived in the same state as me, but he was still a 3 to 4 hour drive away, so mostly we've just had Discord calls and spent time together gaming for the past few weeks. This Saturday, though, we finally managed to meet up in person and have a date, and honestly, I think I'm kinda in love. Dude's cuter than any girl I've ever met, but unlike most girls, he's actually into the same things I am. Anyways, we ended up having a great day out on Saturday, and I ended up staying at his place over the weekend, though surprisingly, I kept my promise to my dad and somehow avoided having segs lol. Anyways, yeah, I'm now back home and extremely happy with my decision to lie to my parents. I really do like him, and will probably ask him to marry me a couple months from now if nothing goes wrong.